Welcome to the February 28th, 2022 Mason City Council meeting. I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we will start out by having roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Nelson.
Here.
Councilmember Bradburn.
Present.
Councilmember Hackey.
Here.
Councilmember Stricula.
Here.
Mayor Spaeth.
Here. I just want to say something before we have the pledge. I know that we all are painfully aware of what's been going on in Ukraine over the last few days, past week. And I know that it's been, for me at least, very heartbreaking to see the number of lives lost and the devastation in the country, and just people having to leave their homes and flee the country for safety. So I just wanted to have a moment of silence so that we could all individually just reflect on that and just pray about that for a minute. Okay, thank you very much. We are now going to have the Pledge of Allegiance, and I see we have some guests here in the audience. Would one of you all like to lead us in the pledge? One of the scouts here? I'd love for you to come up and do that. You can just come right on up front.
Can everyone hear me all right? Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, item number 4. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the February 14th council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Okay, item 5 is the city manager's report. Eric?
Thank you, Mayor. Just have a couple of items, some housekeeping items. Would like to announce this Thursday, March 3rd at 5 p.m. We'll be having a special meeting with the Maid CDC and the Maid Chamber of Commerce. The purpose is to have a reception and some introduction. There's some new board members on all 3 of those, and this is an opportunity to get to know each other better. So we'll be doing public notice on that tomorrow morning. We want to make sure that was on council's calendars. In a similar vein, our next scheduled meeting is March 14th, after March 3rd, then March 14th, then March 28th would be the next regular meeting. That is also spring break for both Mason and King schools. In the past, that has been a conflict both for council members as well as sometimes members of the public for business before council. I believe that having a single meeting, that single regular meeting in March, should be sufficient for our routine business. So if council wishes to adjust the council meeting schedule to accommodate spring break, a motion would be in order.
Would anyone like to make that motion?
Also move.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Next, Mayor, a couple of items that fall under the city's partnerships for our campus safety program, which works both with the community center, court, this campus, significantly the schools, private businesses, significantly Kings Island also provides some of the framework for that. I want to start with Officer Nathan Ketterer, who is responsible for the Good Choice Ticket Program. I think many of you heard of that. I want Nathan to take a moment or two to explain the program and recognize some of the partnerships.
Thank you, Mr. Anson. Mayor, Council, thank you for having us tonight and giving me the opportunity to talk about the Good Choice Ticket Program. It is managed through the campus safety part of the police department, but it is a police department program. So many officers participate. This is actually 31 in total. I presented on this a couple years ago in 2017, but I'll just touch on the brief points of the last year and go over that. It was kicked off during Music in Mason after Memorial Day, so the Friday after Memorial Day last year, and concluded on September 6th, which was Labor Day. So consistently each year from about Memorial Day to Labor Day is when the Good Choice Ticket Program goes, and it's a great summer program for the police officers of our department as well as the youth in the community. It's designed and continues to be one of our best police community relations type program, like a community-oriented policing project. It creates opportunities for officers on our department to engage youth in the city and in the community. When an officer observes a child making a good choice or a safe choice, that gives them the opportunity to engage them, talk to them, talk about the good choice they saw, and also recognize that. And what this does is it helps build trust through these interactions and continues to help build that positive relationship between officers and the community starting at a really young age. And that's kind of what we're working at with this program. There's different reasons for how we can have these opportunities, and it ranges from anything from wearing proper gear or riding a bicycle safely, walking in a crosswalk, saying please and thank you. If we observe someone say please and thank you, we don't hear that so often anymore, and that's a good thing to recognize. Holding the door for somebody, that's another a choice we see. And it goes on and on. Greeting a police officer, which has always been, and historically speaking, hard for a person to do because it's the type of job just makes it difficult. So this makes it easier for us to reach out to a child and just talk to them. But what we've noticed, and I'll get to this in a minute, is one of our most noticed, I don't want to call it a citation or an offense, is children greeting officers now, which is a nice thing. It shows that the program seems to be working and they're comfortable talking to us, which is great. Like I said, 31 officers from our department, staff members actually, which includes campus safety specialists, gave out 1,085 tickets this last summer. And that basically means 1,085 positive police youth interactions, which we think is a great thing. The program started actually in 2017, and we've had this program every summer. We took off during the pandemic, so we've had four programs over 5 years, and we've given away past 4,000 tickets, which is a lot of good, positive encounters. The top two most observed things we observed with these tickets is this current year with 616 tickets were noted as a child greeting us, which is a pretty cool thing to think about. The second most noted item on the ticket was kids playing outside, which is another good thing we see. We don't see that a whole lot like we used to probably 10 to 20 years ago, but when we see those things, we want to make sure that we notice it because that's a great thing as well. Another thing I want to touch on, especially if I'm going to be called out on it, is other police agencies' interest in our program, which means we're doing something right, I think. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, Village of Harveysburg, Hamilton Township nearby, and also Oakwood Police Department more recently have shown interest in the program, asked a lot of questions and documents to see what we're doing, just kind of duplicate what we're doing. But Oakwood was interesting because one of our officers have left our department a couple years ago and moved to a department closer to where he lives and proposed this program, exactly the same program, basically to their department, and their chief and city manager liked it so much they adopted it, and now they do it as well. So I think that credits our commitments here in Mason, and you know, that's a good thing. New to this 2021 year, every redemption location on the ticket was able to be visited by the child with their family. And we had 4 locations. It includes Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Quatman Cafe, the Mason Bowl, and the Mason Municipal Aquatic Center, which just opened. So in the past, they had to pick one out of all these locations. That was a really hard decision to make. But this year, with our business partners, which I think the idea might have came from them, was they give away as many tickets as we'll give out. So we just started letting them redeem them at all the locations, which is really cool. Just to kind of throw out some numbers, 438 tickets that we could track were redeemed. Tropical Smoothie had 156, Quatman Cafe had 131, the Mason Municipal Aquatic Center had 88, and the Mason Bowl had 63. If you were to take the value of all those redemptions, that's almost $3,000 worth of stuff given away. And each business gives away something unique to their location. So, and we'll recognize some businesses in a moment. I also want to recognize the Kiwanis Club of Mason every year now. Since 2017, they have generously donated to our program by paying for every ticket we give away. So we don't pay for any of the tickets, and they're all paid for through the Kiwanis Club of Mason, which is a great opportunity. The upcoming summer, we're going to do this program again. There'll be more information on that, but it'll go from Memorial Day to Labor Day as well. But at this time, I'd like Assistant Chief Captain Klein to come up to the center. We're going to pass out a couple plaques that we have prepared on behalf of the city, and I'll just call up each location individually. Nick Patel from Tropical Smoothie Cafe, if you'd come up to the center, please. And Tropical Smoothie gave away a smoothie, and the child got to pick any flavor they wanted. And if you would just mind waiting, we'll do all three, and then we'll do a group photo. But gave away a customized smoothie for whatever the flavors the child wanted, which was I got a lot of good feedback on that. Matt M. from Quatman Cafe. And Quatman's gave away an entire kids meal with fries, a sandwich, and a drink, which was great. Pat Schroeder from Mason Bowl. And Mason Bowl gave away a free game and a shoe rental. And I just want to make one comment before we do a photo. Really, the program could not be successful without our business partners in the city. And every single year, I'm always told you love it, you want it to come back and participate again. But really, all the generous contributions of the reward a child gets to get when they know they've done something well, and seeing it at the business is a great opportunity. So thank you very much.
Mayor, next, under that same heading, and within the campus safety program, we have a good tradition, I think has paid off with the Good Choice Ticket program, starting a new tradition rooted within the campus safety team. Officer Matt Kimbrell has been the lead on this. This will hopefully become a new tradition. He's put together a safety summit, partnering with several groups within the community, and would like to have him talk to us a little bit about that and introduce some of the partners.
Good evening. My name is Officer Matt Kimbrell. I'm a member of the City of Mason Police Department, if my uniform didn't give it away. I've been with the city now for 8 years, the last 4 of which I've been part of our campus safety unit with Officer Ketterer. And really, in the past 4 years since we expanded our campus safety unit, a couple of different things that we wanted to make sure we did was to increase our community engagement, which we're doing with things like the Good Choice Ticket. Really solidify the community relationships we already have and develop new ones. And lastly was to increase the amount of educational opportunities that we can give to our community. The event that I'm going to speak about in a moment does all those things and much more, I do believe. Before I get into the specifics of the event, though, I do want to thank council and our city administration for allowing me to speak about that event tonight. Allowing me to sit here and tell the community about the event and get the word out, if you will, start spreading the word on it, is only going to increase that community engagement we're going to have on the night of the event. So as you leave here, as you learn more about the event, please share this with your friends, have them share it with their friends, because truly the more people we have show up to the event, the more information we can get out to our community, the better it will be. With that being said, the event is called the Mason Community Safety Summit. It will take place on March 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. at Mason High School. In particular, we'll be using the natatorium entrance of the high school, where we'll be utilizing the large commons and the theater area. This event has truly been a collaborative effort with the City of Mason and our Mason City School District, and I cannot stress that word enough, collaboratively. Every single person that I've approached to be a part of this event from both our city and both our school district has worked hand in hand in unison with 100% support, 100% effort, and 100% enthusiasm, and it's really been a pleasure to work with. I had actually Ms. Hef asked me what's been the hardest part of kind of putting this thing together, and my answer was really nothing yet, which kind of made me worrisome somewhat. But that's been the truth. Every single person has been on board 100%. It's been inspiring to work with, and it really lets me rest a lot easier knowing that this event is going to be as great as it can be for our community on the night of. The event itself is going to be a combination of interactive booths, interactive content-driven booths, and a keynote speaker. The keynote speaker for the event is Secret Service Agent Brian Phillips. And while we have been developing the idea for an event like this in campus for about the past year or so, I do have to give a shout out to Brian for being the spark that kind of lit the fire for it to be next month, if you will. A few months ago, Mr. Phillips reached out to our school district and met with school administration and campus safety, where he informed us about an initiative that the Secret Service has been developing with NCMEC, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in Washington, D.C. What he showed us is a program that they have developed. It's an educational, age-appropriate, content-driven cyber safety curriculum. The internet can be a wonderful tool. It can be a very useful tool. It can also be an extremely dangerous one, not just for our youth in our community, but adults as well. The power that it kind of has makes it even more important that we know how to use it safely and appropriately. And as Mr. Phillips went through his initiative with the Secret Service and NCMEC, it was obvious this is something we wanted to share with our community. That being said, we decided to throw an event where we're going to introduce this curriculum and this initiative to our community, but we really wanted to take full advantage of the opportunity we're going to be given. You get that many community members under one roof, we wanted to expand just beyond highlighting that agenda with the Secret Service. So we decided to figure out 5 safety-related topics that we thought would be most impactful and most educational for our community. And we decided to go with cyber safety, empowerment, drug education, general safety, and mental health awareness. With that, we were able to secure 18 different content-driven booths that will be staffed by specialists in those particular fields that will be able to provide information to our community, answer any questions they may have, and highlight some of the resources that are available to our community. With those content-driven booths and with the keynote speaker, Secret Service Agent Brian Phillips, like I said, there were 3 things that I really wanted to get out of this event. Number 1 was to introduce that initiative that the Secret Service and NCMEC has developed. Number 2 was to get as much educational, impactful, and digestible information out to our community as we could. And lastly was to highlight just a few of the many resources that are available to our community. I live in this community. I obviously work in it, and I have a close relationship with the schools. If I didn't have those last 2 parts, I probably wouldn't know a lot of the resources that are available to us. We're hoping to change that with events like this. So those are the 3 things I wanted to take out of this. Through those 5 categories, like I said, we have 18 content-driven booths that are going to be there. A number of them are city-led content booths. A few are school-led content booths, but we also have external organizations that are going to be there as well. A few that are present tonight that I'll point out later. At the county level, we have Safe on Main, which is formerly the Abuse and Rape Crisis Shelter. They're going through a rebranding, so I wanted to make sure they get that name out there. And also the Warren County Board of Developmental Disabilities. At the state level, we have End Slavery Cincinnati, which is the Southwest Ohio Anti-Human Trafficking Coalition through the State Attorney General's Office. Their partnership with Salvation Army, I believe. And we also have MRSS, which is something that I think is really useful that not a lot of people know about. It's called MRSS, which is the Mobile Response Stabilization Services. And they're an organization where if a family is going through, an individual is having a mental health episode under the age of 21, if you contact this organization, they'll actually send a mental health professional to your house, help you work through that as a family, and help set up aftercare if needed. At the federal level, we have, again, Secret Service Agent Brian Phillips, but we'll also have FBI agents, ATF agents, and also the United States Attorney General's office. And I think there might be one more from the state that could be there we're working on now. With all that being said, that's a lot of content, that's a lot of information under one roof. If you're like me and you go to an event like this and someone hands you some literature to read, even if I'm interested in it, I'm probably gonna skim through it while I'm there, mean wholeheartedly to look at it later on and then forget. I wanted to make sure that didn't happen. So we tried to figure out a way that this event can live beyond just the evening of March 21st. The way we're going about doing that is we have created a website for the event. If you go to imaginemason.org right now, you can search in the top right, there's a search bar, and you can search Mason Community Safety Summit, and the first link that shows up will be the website for this event. We've also attached a QR code to it. So on the night of the event, this QR code will be everywhere. I wanted to make sure it was accessible as can be, to where if you scan it with your smartphone, it will take you directly to the website. Currently, the website, the top half of it is the who, what, when, all that stuff that I just went over for the event. You know, Mason Community Safety Summit, March 21st, 6 to 9 p.m. But if you scroll down, it has those 5 safety topics that I spoke about with the appropriate booth titles under each one of those subjects. Right now, they are not hyperlinked to anything. It's just the booth title. But on the night of the event and then beyond, they will be hyperlinked to either the organization's external website. So, for example, Safe on Main, you'd be able to click on their booth title name on the website and it would take you to their website. But for the in-house content, city-driven booths that we're putting together, we're actually going to upload PDFs of the content we're going to have at the booths. A couple different reasons we wanted to do that. Number one is for people like me that would lose the content that they had. But number two, not everyone's going to be able to attend this event on the night of. So we wanted to make sure that they had this information available to them as well and they didn't just miss out and that was the end of it. Number three, as I ask you, as you leave here, tell your friends about it. If you attend the event, tell your friends about it afterwards. This is what this content is going to be there for. We want to make sure that the information that we've put together reaches as many people as it can, and as many people in our community understand a lot of the resources that are available to them and how to get them if they need them. With that being said, there are a few organizations that are going to be participating in the event that are here tonight, and I wanted to call them out just so they get the recognition and the gratitude that they deserve for being part of this. Not a single organization that is going to be present and part of this event had to do it. They did it because they share the same passion and commitment to bettering our community as we do as a city and a school district. So I really appreciate them for being there and taking part in this. First, we have Safe on Main. We have Miss Jane Kahn here and Miss Chelsea Thomas Carrison. We really appreciate you guys being there, and you do wonderful work, and we're really happy to work with you. We also have Mr. Adam Jones from the Warren County Board of Developmental Disabilities, helping us learn how to maintain the safety of one of our more vulnerable sectors of our society, which is really important and something that I'm passionate about as well. And lastly, tonight we also have Mason High School Hope Squad, which I got to give a specific shout out to them because I really appreciate and respect the wherewithal that the students that take part in the Hope Squad have, to have that kind of awareness and that maturity at that age to take part in a peer-to-peer support group within our schools is it's invaluable and it's irreplaceable. It's not lost on me, a person and an authority figure in a school when I'm walking around in a uniform, or even my own kids when I try to tell them something, that not everything an adult says resonates with a juvenile, right? A youth in our community. So to have that come from a different angle and have that information digestible in a different way, hopefully that is resonates with them a little bit more than maybe it comes from us, right? And if we can help anybody, that's what we're here to do. So with that being said, I do also want to take a moment to let Miss Jane Kahn come up and speak about her organization, Safe on Main.
Thank you. You're so generous to give me this moment because that program is phenomenal and we're honored to be a part of it. Very excited about that. Safe on Main stands for Stopping Abuse for Everyone, and for 38 years we were known in Warren County as the Abuse and Rape Crisis Shelter. And I just wanted to take the opportunity, since I was going to be here, to publicly announce that the Abuse and Rape Crisis Shelter provides the same services, the same programs, but under a new name, a new title, a new brand called Safe on Main. The reason that we made that change was because we have a broad spectrum of services. Starting back in 1984, it was a shelter, a two-bedroom shelter for survivors of domestic violence. But since that time, we serve sexual assault survivors, human trafficking survivors, and we have a thriving, large program of intervention that is very present in the Mason City School District, where we go in, starting in the 5th grade in some school districts, all of Warren County's 8 districts, and provide healthy relationships. We teach students how to recognize the difference between an unhealthy and a healthy relationship. It's so sad that so many don't know that difference. They don't recognize it. Just working on trying to change the norms so that maybe at some point someday a domestic shelter will not be needed. So thank you for giving me that opportunity. I also want to thank Mr. Eric Hansen and City Council for the partnership that we have with you as a city. We're in our 3rd year, and it makes such a difference for municipalities such as Mason to be able to recognize the work that we do and see that we bring a very important service within this community. Although that we're countywide, we are the only resource within this county that can meet the needs of these community members when it comes to addressing intimate partner violence, sexual assault, and unfortunately human trafficking, which is very prevalent around us. So thank you for your partnership. I'm looking forward to seeing at least 8 of you on April 28th at our Night of Giving Gala, of which you are one of our top sponsors. So thank you.
Really quickly, also, I wanted to give the superintendent of our Mason City School District, Jonathan Cooper, a moment to speak. I know he wanted to speak about this event as well, as he's really excited as we are.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you, City Council, for allowing us to participate in the partnership. I just want to thank you again. About 4 years ago, Eric Hansen sat down with myself and our team and Todd Petrie just to talk about safety. That was the #1 thing on our parents' minds. And so through that time, we've been able to build this beautiful partnership with the officers in our campus safety program, which has been excellent because it's not just about the safety, but it's about the partnerships and the relationships and building those with our kids. And so you heard those stories tonight. We're excited to see those continue. At the same time, we built our mental wellness program, and those two teams together, the mental wellness program, our safety program, have become something that has continued to make Mason a destination district. It's a destination district because of the partnerships and the city support that we have. So we just want to thank you so much. Thank you to our Hope Squad for being here tonight with Alex Burkett and the crew, and for Todd Petrie and our safety team. And thank you for having us. We can't wait for the event. Thanks.
With that being said, you guys are done listening to me for the evening. If you have any questions, I'll be around. Please ask me, and I hope to see a lot of you at the event on March 21st. Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you all. Nathan, I just want to say thank you for presenting about the Good Choice Ticket Program. I love that program. I've actually seen it in action when there's been a police officer on a sidewalk recognizing a child for good behavior or whatever it's been. So I just think that's amazing. And plus, I just think it's so valuable that children learn that police officers are good people and we can have good relationships with them. And also, I'm just really excited about this campus Safety Summit. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting to me. When I first read about this, I was like, this was pretty amazing to me. And I just love these partnerships that we have. So I just want to say thank you to Matt for telling us about it. And Adam's here, Jane and Chelsea, and the Hope Squad that is here. And also to our Superintendent Jonathan Cooper. These relationships that we have with you all are just so valuable. And when I was still working over at the schools, I would see our campus security in action, and it was just phenomenal to me, what we do together. working together. So thank you all very, very much. Appreciate it for being here tonight. Okay, Eric, did you have anything else for your city manager's report?
No, that closes out the report. I just remind council the campus safety program, larger, had very practical roots as well as partnership roots. And I think now you're seeing it mature with these type of programs, really coming into its own and, beyond the nuts and bolts of keeping the campus safe, having a real impact on the community. So it is, like the other programs, pretty unique to Mason, and we do get a lot of inquiries. This goes beyond your standard school resource officer. This is a district of policing, and there's a lot of uniqueness to that and a lot of depth that I think a lot of other communities have started to look at a lot more seriously.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, we're going to go on to item 7, which is recognition of visitors. Do we have anybody that wanted to come to the podium this evening and say anything? If you would, please come forward and state your name and your address for us.
Hi, my name is Christine Yockey. I live at 211 Washington Way, Mason, Ohio, and I'm here as part of our troop, Mason Troop 750 and 750. Thank you, council. Thank you, mayor and vice mayor and council members and staff for allowing us to speak. If it's okay, we have a boy-led and a girl-led troop, and I would like them to participate in this announcement, if that's all right. Mason Scout Troops 750 and 1750, as I said, are boy and girl troops here in Mason, chartered by Heritage Presbyterian Church at the corner of Tylersville and Mason Montgomery Road. We meet every Thursday night at 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Heritage, I think I already said the location, never mind. So I'm going to let each of the scouts talk, and we're going to talk a little bit about our troop and also about our Mulch Fundraiser.
So Troop 750 is one of the area's most active and recognized troops, with 125 scouts that have earned the rank of Eagle since the troop's inception in 1999. And we have 75 scouts currently enrolled in our troops, and then 30 trained adult volunteers, which provide services to local organizations such as Heritage Presbyterian Church, Fort Ancient Nature Preserve, Gorman Farms, and the city of Mason itself. In 2021, 60 scouts earned over 200 merit badges during summer camp and other activities such as Merit Badge Challenge. And then scouts develop leadership skills such as National Youth Leadership Training, or NYLT, as well as leading troop meetings, campouts, and service projects.
Another thing that our troop does is we like to do high adventure trips. So over the past 4 years, we have had 50 scouts and adults on high adventure trips. Some of those have been Philmont, which is backpacking over 100 miles. We have gone to Florida or Missouri. And this year, we have 24 scouts and adult leaders who are going to go on a high adventure trip in New River Gorge.
To speak of what the troop can really do for a scout, I joined scouting. I wasn't a Cub Scout, but I joined scouting back in 2016. And in that time since joining, scouting has taught me leadership skills that I can't find almost anywhere else in society. I've been able to attend NYLT. I'm currently the SPL, or Senior Patrol Leader, of Troop 750. And through all my experiences, it's not only fostered a love for the environment and wanting to protect it, but developed me into what I believe to be a better person, an upstanding moral citizen.
You want me to do it? Okay. So with all of that said, all the different activities and things that our scouts do, our scouts work to earn their own way into Scout Summer Camp and High Adventure Trips and all the other exciting campouts and things that we do. So one of the ways we do that is through our Mulch Fundraiser. Now through April 17th, our troops will be selling mulch from Evans Landscaping to the Mason community. A portion of the sales will go directly to the troop, and the scout who made the sale receives the credit. Customers can order from a choice of 7 different types of mulch in bags or in bulk. We will deliver bags to customers' driveways on April 30th, so you don't need to be home. You tell us where to put it, we'll put it there for you, free delivery. Bulk orders can be placed by anyone in the tri-state area, and they'll be delivered by Evans Landscaping on the day of the customer's choosing. We'll have flyers with ordering information available on our website, which is www.mason750.org. Orders can be placed directly through our website or with a Troop 750 or Troop 750 Scout. We do have order forms. I'm going to have these, get these out into the community, some of our local businesses, and this is what they look like. And then also on the back, all the details about what types of mulch are available, the pricing, and all of that information, as well as a QR code, which I guess is also really popular with other things. But that way you can just scan it and order it directly on your phone if you don't want to get to your computer. Other than that, I just want to say we appreciate the support of our Mason residents and our community, and thank you for this opportunity to make this announcement. We're open to answering any questions by council members or the public.
Well, I can just say, I can vouch this is a great program because my husband and I have utilized it many, many times, and you guys really do put it exactly where you say to put, where we say. It's been awesome. I think it's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do think the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts are so important in our community. I was a Brownie Girl Scout leader for a couple years, and I love that you talked about what you have learned from being in a troop, and I do think it's so wonderful that you have wanted to do that and continue on. As it gets harder when you get older, I know that, and I know that with my own daughter. As you got older, you kind of got, I don't want to say teased maybe if you were still in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, so I really appreciate that you continue on as you have continued to gotten older. Does anybody else want to come up and say anything tonight? Okay. Oh, yes. Please come up, state your name and your address.
My name is Sue Sievertson, 4640 Place Point Drive. I just wanted to speak as a citizen because watching all of these groups together, I have intersect with all of them at some level. Sorry, I'm feeling very proud of Mason right now. But the government, you, the police, my husband has taken your community policing class and loved it. The community organizations that do so much for our community, thank you for that. The schools, wow, our kids have been amazed by the services we've received in the schools. And the businesses who step up to support people. Me personally, I'm a parent educator. Like, how do you help parents raise emotionally resilient, productive parents? And it's just by all of this. It's by being seen and by being appreciated. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody here because all of you have made a huge difference in our families and our children's lives.
Thank you so much. Does anybody else want to come up and say anything this evening? Okay. I'm sorry. We are on to item number 8, and we have an executive session for the acquisition and disposition of property. So I need a motion to adjourn into executive session for the purpose of acquisition and disposition of property.
So moved. Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Okay. We will be back. Yes, do you need?
I just think it's fair for the audience. I would not anticipate this executive session going longer than 5 to 10 minutes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Okay. We are now to item number 9, which is ordinance 2022-34. I need a motion to read by title only.
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, anyone opposed? Okay, Jeff.
Authorizing the city manager to execute an addendum to a lease agreement with Myriad Neuroscience, doing business as Assurex Health, Inc.
Okay, Eric.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Quick history lesson. In November of 2011, so 11 years ago, the city first entered into a lease agreement with what was then known as Assurex Health. That was for space in the community center. We have maintained a strong partnership as they have grown significantly, 6 expansions since that time, all within the campus here until 5 years ago when they moved to space available on Cintas Boulevard Drive along I-71. They were acquired by a Salt Lake City, Utah firm, Myriad Neuroscience, and we were still able to retain this division here in Mason. What is before council now is an opportunity, well, I should mention for the public, there is, and this is one of our secrets that I like to brag about, in the lower level of the municipal center, they have significant space there that they lease from the city and maintain a credentialed genomics lab as part of their work. That lab has seen 1.7 million tests done. And these tests are done for folks to help customize medicine based on their genetic profile. That lab in the basement has to date, apart from all the earnings tax, economic growth, and city manager bragging potential, has generated almost $1 million in revenue for the city of Mason. That is in large measure how we've been able to share some of the expenses of operating the facility here. And if you recall, a year and a half ago now, I believe, we were able to pay off the debt on this building early. A lot of that is because of partnerships like with Myriad Neuroscience. The opportunity before council now is to extend their lease, which also means their tenure here within the city of Mason, by 5 years, as well as to expand the amount of space that they occupy in the lower level. Anticipating that the next 5-year term should generate over $900,000 strictly in lease revenue for the city of Mason, as well as maintain the employment and the bragging rights that at least I like to maintain. With action on this ordinance, this will allow the extension of that current lease for the 5 years and the additional space for Myriad Neuroscience. It is strongly recommended for adoption.
All right, thank you, Eric. I need a motion to suspend the rule and allow for adoption after the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Any council discussion? Okay, let's have roll call, please.
Councilmember Hackey?
Yes.
Councilmember Stricula?
Yes.
Mayor Spaeth?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Nelson?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradburn?
Yes.
Okay, item 10, we're to, oh, yes.
me to explain?
Do you want to? It doesn't have to. Okay.
I think it is worth mentioning, there was a charter amendment passed last year regarding real estate transaction, and council has complied with that.
All right, thank you. Item 10, we have committee reports. Is there anyone that has a committee report tonight?
Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, we did have a downtown committee meeting on the 24th, and Councilmember Chance is the chair of that committee. He actually sent just a statement for me to read as a summary of that meeting, if council will allow. Sorry, look at this. This is from Councilmember Chance. Good evening. My apologies for not being able to make it tonight, but I am out celebrating my lovely daughter's 8th birthday. The Downtown Committee was able to meet last Thursday morning, the 24th. We had a great discussion around how we build trust with all the stakeholders involved, including business owners, residents, and the landowners downtown. We also discussed what a relationship would look like between the city, the Maid Chamber, and the Maid CDC. The Chamber introduced us to the Maid CDC and the individuals who are volunteering to lead this group. The board is made up of individuals that provide a high level of integrity, want to see the best for Mason, and bring an extremely professional approach on how to conduct business. I think it's fair to say we were extremely impressed. They also were able to share some of the activities that they have been involved with in the past couple of years and how they believe the city could engage with them to help move the downtown in a direction that fits the needs and wants of our constituents. By the end of our meeting, the committee reached a consensus that we like their perspective and we'd like to be a part of their efforts to move downtown forward. So I expect at future meetings we will begin to develop and define the framework of that relationship. That's a summary from Councilmember Chance.
Okay, anyone else have a committee report?
Mayor?
Yes.
The Arts and Cultural Committee met, and we had a presentation from the Southwest Philharmonic, and which was a great presentation. They are interested in becoming or doing some concerts for our city. We also talked about how to make local events more known to the public so that we can generate more arts functions and activities and have people from the population coming to take part in the event. So we talked about that. And we also just kind of brainstormed on what different things we can do within our community to increase arts and culture. So we're at the early stages, but we're getting somewhere. So it was a pretty good meeting. Also, the Warren County Municipal League met, and the Neil Tunzen, who is the county engineer, came and spoke with us.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have a committee report? Okay. Moving on to item 11, we are at old and new business. Does anyone have any old and new business?
Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, I would anticipate a safety meeting before our next council meeting. Had some preliminary discussion with Joel Rigglesberger, our finance director, in regards to funds available and funding possible expansion of the fire and EMS services. We'll get those numbers to the committee and we'll take it from there.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? That reminds me too, I just want to remind our viewing audience, if you want to know when there is a upcoming committee, that's always posted on the City of Mason website under the calendar, right? You go down to is it the bottom of the page, and you just click on there and it shows you all the committee meetings if you ever want to attend one. So, okay. So a couple weeks ago, I was trying to get all of the committees and commissions appointed that we had to get everyone current, and we had one committee, the Personnel Review Board, that I believe you guys weren't able to contact everybody by that meeting or something like that, but we have not completed that, and we now have that ready to go. We did have a few vacancies in that particular board. So I would like to make a motion to reappoint Dr. Bedai and Mark Clark, and then a motion to appoint Leslie Krimpenfort, Joyce Selbris, I hope I'm saying that correctly, and Joy Bennett to that Personnel Review Board. Could I have a motion for that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay. Any opposed? No. Okay. And the only other thing I wanted to mention, in our packet, we had an email or a memo in there about the traffic signals. And Kurt, I have a couple questions. There was an explanation about we have 3 different kinds of traffic signals, and it has a lot to do with how the lights change when cars come to an intersection and that kind of thing. And I'm not going to ask you to go through all that right now, but I do have a friend that keeps bugging me, so I need an answer to this one. Okay. So he keeps telling me that, okay, at the intersection of 42 and Tylersville, when he's getting ready to turn left to go into town, okay, he says that yellow flashing light that allows you to turn without the green light is not working. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or I need to give him an answer so he'll quit asking me about it.
Yeah, that flashing yellow arrow is set so that certain times during the day, you only get a green arrow, and that may be what he's talking about, because I think the bulb is still working, functioning, but certain times of the day, it'll only give you a green arrow, which we call a protected movement. So what that was originally put in for, we did some improvements there where there was a lot of crashes during the rush hour. And so a protected movement allows you to go only when you have a green arrow. And then the yellow is a protected permissive. So that means traffic can go when there's gaps in traffic. You can make that left turn when it's safe, when you think it's safe. So certain hours of the day, and I don't know those hours offhand, but during the peak time, if that's when this person is always going through, they'll never see that flashing yellow arrow. But if they go through in the off-peak times or weekends, the flashing yellow arrow will be working. So,
Well, you know, honestly, I did explain that to him, not as well as you did, but he claims that it doesn't matter when he goes through there, it does not work. So I really don't know the time. So, you know, I'll go back and tell him again that. But I hope everybody out there understands that a lot of it has to do with the time of the day. I also know that sometimes at some of the intersections, it to get the green arrow to come up, you have to have a car behind you to trip it, right? Is that
yeah,
right?
yep.
Okay.
Some have two-car detection, yeah, to get the protected arrow.
So sometimes if you just back up, if no one's behind you, you'll trip it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of them.
Yeah, so hopefully everyone, if anyone's interested in knowing more about our signal lights, I'm sure you can contact Kurt and he'll be glad to explain all that because there is an art to it, or a science, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, the other question quickly I have is about the railroad crossings, and they're at 42 Tylersville, and then my friend also said at the one Western Row in Snyder. I'm not sure if he's talking about on Snyder or Western Row, but he said there's been some work needing to be done, and kind of wondering when that will happen and who's responsible for that.
Yeah, most likely they're talking about the Snyder Road crossing. That one is bad. In general, the railroad is responsible for all the crossings, so they're responsible for maintenance of the tracks where they cross any of our roadways. We contact them. In fact, on both of those, we sent them pictures last Thursday. I found out my staff had contacted them. We contacted the roadmaster, which is the person, it's not rail master, it's a roadmaster, is the person that's responsible for maintenance of those crossings this morning, and they said that they would have somebody out there to do something with them. Generally, the city has to help them with maintenance of traffic while they're putting asphalt into the holes to try to help with some of those bumps, but both of those, so the 42, the easy answer is it's the railroad's responsibility. With the 42 Tylersville project, that crossing, we were hoping to do last summer, but they're working with Ohio Rail Development Commission, ORDC, which is a branch of ODOT. Between them, the railroad, and the city Mason, all three of us are partnered to replace that crossing. That work is supposed to happen this summer. Likely in June. We don't have those dates yet. That project, the railroad actually has out to bid as we speak, and I don't know their bid opening date, but it's early March, and then we'll know more once that contractor is selected. But that crossing, the good news is that crossing will be replaced and will be much, much better than it is today. The bad news is to do that, we have to close that crossing in order to do that work. So there'll be probably a 2-week period where Tylersville Road going east and west across the tracks is completely closed to get that work done.
Okay.
So, that'll be a heck of a detour while that work is going on, but once it's done, it should be done for many, many years. So
Right. Is it possible that'll get delayed with everything else that's being delayed because of short?
we actually got kind of a stray call from a contractor asking us about the detour, and we asked them while we had them on the phone. That's how we found out the railroad had it out to bid. If they were to get the project, could they get the parts delivered? And they said that early June they could get the parts in. So they didn't indicate that there would be a problem, but it's definitely possible with everything that we're seeing. So
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
But our goal is to have it done before school starts in August.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Did anybody else have anything they want to say for old and new business? Okay, well, let's see, we are back to item 12, and that's recognition of visitors again. Is there anyone that would like to come up to the podium and say anything? Okay, doesn't look like it, so we are now to item 13, which is I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
All right, thank you all for being here.